I always tell people that I've been hurt far worse in my professional wrestling career than anything else I've ever done. I mean, that's a truthful fact.
And I tore my rotator cuff on Big Stand the very last day, but I said we got to keep going. So that's when I really tore it, and I tore both because you hit a stunt guy, and like if he doesn't want to fly, he doesn't fly. So you got to if he goes the other way or doesn't move, you're taking the hit on your rotator cuff. And so I said, well, I got to commit to this, and I'm spinning this stuff, and I'm 42 years old, going too fucking old for this, but you just keep doing it, and it was worth it. But I remember I went to see Dr. Nick of the Clippers, and he looked at me and said, how old are you? I go, I'm 42. He said, you really need your shoulders that badly? You really need, because I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be better. It's going to be really tough to all the rehabbing. He said, can you live with the pain? I went I guess. Get out of here then. And he didn't operate on me.
Do you ever think about stem cell shots or anything like that? 'Cause a lot of
No, I haven't. But I'm trying to get back in shape now, and I do have limited movement in my shoulders. But
still a lot of pain though.
Not as much pain, but when you're picking up your kid this way, yeah, I get this way especially, just because the rotator cuffs are kind of shot.
Dan's doing stem cell stuff there.
No, how's it going for you?
I asked about that because I did do a couple of different shots.
And you felt it helped?
No, fantastic. It helped me a great deal.
Just for pain or also for mobility?
Just for the overall ability. I had a couple shots in knees, and it literally gave me back ability that I actually thought, this is the downward spiral. Finally starting to hit that thing.
My dick would work as well, you think, the stem cell?
Well, I don't know.
It depends.
I'll take one of those.
There's only so much they can do.
Yeah. If he saw the guy I saw, they take your own blood.
Oh, yeah.
It's not baby embryos.
Yeah.
They take
forget it.
Then forget it. I don't want that.
Yeah,
what's the fun in that?
Yeah. I wanted a horse embryo, yeah. They take your own blood and spin it, separating it, and then, cook it, and then they put it back into you.
Well, that's a good idea. I'll do that. Why the fuck not? I'm in.
Sounds
Let's
like
go.
a good time.
We got that done here? Well, this has been amazing. Well, I will say, there's a lot of the people I've worked with over my lifetime is very few people that left a lasting mark where I go when you meet somebody, I go, that's a friend for life. And that's Don Frye to me. Whatever this guy, anytime, whatever I can do for him, anytime. And it just, the spirit of a guy who just puts everything on the line.
My toilet's clogged up.
I'm in, baby. No, but the level of commitment that he puts into the fights, and he puts in, and that level of heart and the commitment that he puts into his acting is just great. This is you got a guy who's got your back, and that's what you want,
Yeah, Rob Schneider, I'll just say it's been a real pleasure. My first chance to meet you today, but then having on you here and chatting for this time frame. I mean, this has been fantastic. We've all had a chance to learn a little bit more about you in a lot of different ways. We
can cut this down to 15 minutes, can't we, guys?
I'm sure we can. But just from the bottom of my heart, just want to let you know that from the Toxic Masculinity.
That's a great title. I like that.
We appreciate having you.
I had to convince, a little bit of convincing to do, but I thought,
I like toxic.
What does that make you think of?
It makes you think of of guys who are not embarrassed to admit who they are. Yeah. It's it is, and the idea as masculinity isn't something to diminish. It's something to bring out, right. and it doesn't mean you're a bad guy if you have a lot of masculinity. There's men and then there's women. The idea that we have to, I just saw some footage of and this is going to get me in trouble more than anything we talked about. I just saw some footage of people who were allowed to compete in women's high school sports.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just isn't fair. I saw this guy just winning by by 15 yards. And, he's allowed in his new administration to compete.
He felt like a little girl that day, yes.
So it just isn't fair. I mean, you want equality. Women have been fighting for equality all these years, and now they're losing it again?
Yeah, you're not going to hear any of us argue that point with you whatsoever. No, to me, it's if you want to have a different type of world championship game or something like this, be our guest. That's the land of opportunity right now. But if you're a male, you should be competing in male sports. If you're female, you should be competing in female sports.
At the same time, like I'll respect what you want to do as a human being, whatever that is, and I'm all for it. However, I think that to compete and that's not fair. And look, I'm all for if you want to have like I was one of the few people saying, hey, drug Olympics, let's go. Everybody, whatever drugs you want, let's see what happens. Whatever, and then you'll see what happens. Like those East German weightlifters, all of a sudden, the shoulder breaks out of the arm, but the bone's coming through. It's like, there's only so much the bone's willing to take.
Because they were lifting like 10 tons at that time, right?
And that's still not a deal breaker. They're going to keep going.
I just remember.
And we're talking about just the women, right? We're not talking about the men yet.
I know. I just remember those East German swimmers, those girls just like, and like, well.
I do too.
I remember thinking like that's amazing. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but like, wow, I was impressed with that. And look, there's an athlete is always going to look for any advantage he can get.
Sure.
And then
of course.
But I think there's some.
It's like a comedian who steals jokes,
Yeah, any advantage you can get. Yeah, but they can get caught doing that shit too.
Exactly. Yeah.
They can get an eye poked out in a different way. Yeah.
You find the old shit. There was a guy who never got Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh yeah,
No respect.
Rodney was great.
Oh yeah, find his old tapes and add them to your repertoire.
Yeah, he was great. I remember he came up to Adam Sandler. Hey, that's a really funny joke about you and your old girlfriend. Let me buy that off you. And Adam was like, hey, Rodney, I only got like about 8 minutes of jokes. I need to keep them all. Hey, I'm going to take it from you. At least let me give you some money for it anyway. He was just joking, but I reminded him of that years later because I remember it was a funny exchange, and Adam was really proud of that because he was our hero, Rodney, And Rodney said, I never stole a joke in my life. Let me tell you that, kid. That's not true. And I said, you were joking, Rodney. I was like, I never stole a joke in my life. That's like a thing. It's a big thing. Hey. Rodney was a great guy. Rodney was. I never saw Rodney one time during the day or night. You didn't see his junk. He would have after the show. He'd be in the backstage, put on a robe, and then his 80-year-old balls and junk is hanging out at some point. I go, Rodney, you got to put some underwear. What are you talking about, man? Why are you looking down there then?
The man that gets no respect,
no respect at all.
Him and Don Rickles were phenomenal.
So they were till the end. I remember he said, come on, hey, let's go gamble. We're in Vegas. I said, I'm going to lose. I said, how do you know? He said, look at me. Do I look like a guy who's going to win? I'm going to lose $500 and I'm going to go to bed. So we went downstairs. It was with Adam Sandler, Judd Apatow, and Quentin Tarantino, and Chris Rock, I think, was there. And so we were gambling, and I swear to God, the dice didn't even make it all the way to the end. The dice just hated him. The guy had no luck. After he lost $500 so quick, and he listened, what'd I tell you? I'm out $500 down. I'm going to bed. And that'll be it. And he'd go to bed. But he smoked pot. And he said, I said, you smoke, Rodney? He said, of course I smoke. It's the only reason I'm still alive. Yeah. So, but he was a great guy. I was very proud to be a pallbearer at his funeral.
Was he always in character, or was that
him?
Was
Rodney. That was him. He was a guy when he was a younger comedian. He didn't make it when he was younger because he didn't have that look yet. He looked like a longshoreman who'd break your legs when he was in his 40s with those dark circles and a little bit of gray and mostly black hair. But when he got 50, he kind of softened a little bit. So, hey, and had that, the kind of stiff way of walking around. So, hey, and that kind of fatherly thing that everybody rooted for and loved, And that's when he hit it big. Yeah. It's amazing.
He's in some classic movies, too. All just great comedy.
I mean, maybe the greatest ever. I mean, Caddyshack. There's nothing greater than that. No. We're all trying to make a movie like Caddyshack after all these years.
It was phenomenal. They got ripped apart, when it first came out.
Sure.
And one of the guys committed suicide because of it.
Oh, Doug Kenny jumped off a
a cliff in Hawaii.
Jumped off a cliff, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was one of the great comedy writers. Yeah. I think he did Animal House, too. Maybe one of the greatest jokes ever in the American lexicon of comedy was in Animal House, where the guy shows up and the pig go on a date.
Mind if we dance with no dates?
Yeah. Just before that was when he goes to the sorority and asks to go out with the girl. Yeah. And then she was blown up in a kiln accident,
Yeah.
Spinning pots, and she died and he said, well, I'm feeling so terrible right now. Can you get some girls to go out with us? And the next thing, it was like, that's the greatest joke ever. It's such a great joke. Tim Matheson was amazing in that. But anyway, those are the times, baby. So I've enjoyed this, but I think I got to head home because my wife's going to kill me.
All right.
I got 2 young
I
kids.
think we burnt out the batteries, they said.
Okay,
Hey.
Burn, we're done?
Thanks again to Rob Schneider, and that's tweeted out here from.
Toxic masculinity.
There you go. There you go.
You guys,
You show me that sign there.
you guys are going to get rich off those T-shirts. You guys got T-shirts yet?
Not yet.
Shit. You better trademark that.
Yeah.
ToxicMasculinity.com.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want a piece of that. Okay, brother, I've enjoyed this. I love you, pal. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.